Wiggle.
Cool. So, do you want to record a bass line? Harry?
Yeah, sure. So I've just found a nice bass preset here. So I'm just going to get something recorded in. Because it's always good to record kind of a bass line melody before you start playing it, because then you get a better idea of how you're sculpting the sound each time.
Nice.
Let's just work with that. I'm just going to get it quantized just to keep it in line. Cool. And set up a nice cycle around that, and then we can start playing around with what this performance section on the synth really does. So as you can see, you've got 8 pads which kind of function as the main bit of the performance section. Each one has a word attached to it which kind of describes the timbre of how that particular pad shapes the sound. So if I play this bass melody, start moving the crosshair type thing here, we'll see how we can kind of sculpt the preset sound that we're working with. So you can hear each pad has its own separate timbre, and you might have noticed whilst I was moving those crosshairs around that these parameters here were changing each time. So what's actually happened here is on each pad these parameters have been changed and they've been saved to the pad as it's going along.
It's a great way to edit your sound really quickly as well. You know,
exactly.
So you can move this crosshair to wherever you want, and I think the great thing about that little performer is that it really is for performing also. It's not just for the studio use, but you could imagine hooking this up to some sort of MIDI controller, or maybe you've got a few faders, or even an XY pad like a Korg Chaos pad.
Yeah,
something like that.
Exactly.
You know, it's just so nice to have something that controls so much, but in such small increments.
Yeah. Exactly.
And what you'll find is you're able to be creative a lot quicker.
Yeah, because a lot of synths, when you use them, it's more focused on kind of almost programming, and
very individual sections where, as you can see, when you move this performance pad, it's actually changing all these different parameters over here on the right hand side. So you've got you can see the sort of the cutoff moving, the LFO depth, you've got the timbre, symmetry, LFO speed, and it's also moving some stuff here on our XY pad. So we are going to get into more detail with this later, but we just wanted to give you a basic overview towards how you can quickly set up a bass line and then start editing it really quickly. So here's that just one more time. So Buzzy, that's what we originally started with. It's smaller. I guess that is a little bit smaller, yeah.
it's nice. A little bit smaller.
I really like that one actually. When you went to that one, I was like, yeah, I'd use that.
Sounds huge.
Yeah.
But I mean, also what's really cool is if you move the crosshairs between 2 pads, you actually get a mixture of those 2 settings.
Yeah.
So you can actually create a nice blend between separate settings on the synth as well.
Here's some sort of delay coming in on this one here, which is cool. So this is clearly triggering some sort of effect, and I think you can actually see here that's actually affecting this XY pad, which is moving with these crosshairs, is affecting the delay offset and the delay feedback.
Yeah.
So I guess that's making the delay from making the delay faster or start at a different point or something like that.
Yeah, and kind of just increasing it each time.
You can hear the resonance coming up on that one, so it coming straight up. That's a little bit too zappy for my liking, but nevertheless,
you could always use it. It's like an interesting little sound that comes in.
All towards the end of a chorus or a drop or something like that. Again, something quite cool to automate. Love that from that to. I mean, that is super cool. That is really, really cool. And then, of course, if you want to get into more detail, you guys can always just play around with the individual parameters here. Let's say you found something you like. So let's go with... I'm going to go with rubbery, actually. That's the one I like the most. So once I've, even with this, it's never final. You're just finding roughly what you like from a preset that you originally liked, and then you can go in a little bit further and start fine-tuning cutoff, resonance, and any other parameters that it's going to give you the option.
It's experimenting, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's the thing with this synth, it leaves a lot of room for really experimenting with the sound that you're creating.
Yeah, and also you don't have to get in too deep. You can just leave it on this simple thing here and just play around with that, and then leave the rest up to other effects that you could always put, like a bass amp or EQ and compression, and so on. Okay guys, well, we hope you found that useful. We'll be back showing you how to record more bass lines and getting into a little bit more detail with our advanced section. See you in a bit.
Cool, nice one.
Wiggle.